From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at Noon, streaming now.
And thanks for joining our team here on the News at Noon on WRTV. I'm Lauren Casey, and Todd Clausen is standing by this midday with a check of our forecast. It was a rainy start, Todd, but what can people expect if they're heading out the door this lunch hour?
You know, there's still a little bit of rain in spots here, Lauren, but as you mentioned, it's a lot more quiet than what it was earlier this morning when the rain was a little more widespread across the area. As you look at WRTV Storm Team radar, you can see that most of the shower activity now is to the north and east. And from this point forward, the rest of us should be mainly dry throughout the remainder of the day. Some light showers near Noblesville as well as Anderson, over towards the Muncie area with a few pockets of heavier rainfall up in the Marion and Hartford City area. But that's really just about it. But this is just a small piece of a large storm system that's going to be impacting most of the country as we go throughout the course of the day before Thanksgiving. You look back off to our west, and this is where the center of low pressure is, and that is the rainmaker for the day tomorrow. So from this point forward throughout the remainder of the day, this is going to be the view. A lot of clouds around. With the clouds, temperatures aren't really going to move much more. We're in the low to mid 40s right now. We may get up to about 48 degrees this afternoon with those cloudy skies, but not a lot in the way of rainfall. Heavy rain, though, does return overnight tonight. Tomorrow, there's the potential of some severe weather as well as the potential for some localized flooding. We'll detail that for you more coming up in Maine weather, Lauren, in just a couple minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. New this midday, a scientific group is showing just how deadly COVID-19 is here in Indiana. The analysis was conducted by the Federation of American Scientists. It shows that Indiana reported 7.6 deaths per 1 million residents in the 7-day period that ended this past Saturday. That means Indiana ranks 36 in the entire world in COVID-19 mortality. The state now has a higher death rate than countries like the UK, Greece, and South Korea. South Dakota and North Dakota have the highest mortality rates both in the U.S. and in the world. Today, Indiana set a single-day record for the most COVID-19 deaths reported. These new numbers just came in from the state health department. 103 people who died with COVID-19 have been added to the state's total. The health department says almost all of the deaths have come over the past 4 days. Indiana also reported more than 5,700 new cases of the virus today as the number of infections remains high here. And the number of people being treated at our state's hospitals for COVID-19 is again at an all-time high of 3,279. So let's take a closer look at the state's color-coded map. It measures the likelihood of community spread. You can see all the Indianapolis metro areas in the orange. That's the second highest category. The state health department will update this map with its noon coronavirus update tomorrow. Hamilton County is in the orange, as we mentioned right now, and as a result, the Hamilton County Health Department has added some new COVID-19 restrictions on crowds that take effect tomorrow. The county says no social gatherings or sports events crowds of more than 250 people will be allowed. If the county moves into the highest red category tomorrow or anytime in the future, the crowd limit will be reduced to just 100 people. Also, if Hamilton County goes into the red, bars, restaurants, and gyms will be limited to 50% capacity. And there's a major health concern with the coronavirus and the flu colliding this season. So free flu shot clinic is happening right now. Melissa McMasters oversees the immunization program for the Marion County Public Health Department, and she spoke with our own Rafael Sanchez today on Good Morning Indiana.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
How critical is this flu shot this year?
COVID and flu are both circulating, and getting infected with both of those can be a problem because both attack sort of the respiratory system and the immune system. So we don't want to see co-infections this year.
Where is the clinic that you're holding today, and who are you targeting to get those flu shots?
So you would go to 4012 North Rural, and we are seeing people from noon to 4. There's no charge for the vaccine. And we have designed this clinic to be sort of a drive-up clinic. So those individuals with high-risk medical conditions, those with chronic medical conditions, or anyone over age 65 who may be a little bit wary about getting in public during the pandemic, we're offering this for them so they don't even have to get out of their car. They can just drive up and get their vaccine.
So the state health department already reported last week our first flu-related death of the year. How concerned are you that people may not take this as serious as they need to?
Well, we're concerned every year because influenza does kill individuals here in Marion County every year. So with all going on with COVID, we hope some of the preventive measures that are in place for COVID help reduce some of the flu that we're going to see this flu season, but we don't know that for sure.
Melissa McMasters with the Marion County Health Department, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate being here.
And the health department says that it will use the flu shot drive-through as a model for how it will give out the COVID-19 vaccine once it's available. Again, you're just going to drive up, you roll up your sleeve and get a free flu shot today. This clinic runs until 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's located at 4012 North Rural Street. The focus is on the most vulnerable, which are people 65 and older, but a flu shot can be given to anyone 6 months and older. Tonight, WRTV presents our special that will dive deep into the COVID-19 crisis here in the state of Indiana. You'll hear from experts about when you may be able to get a vaccine and a whole lot more. Don't forget to set your DVR for our WRTV news special, Inside the COVID Crisis. It's tonight at 7 o'clock right here on WRTV. Indianapolis public schools are making sure that students are fed while they're learning from home over the next month and a half. Today, IPS began giving out meals to students at 25 drive-through locations across the school district. IPS will continue handing out breakfast and lunch meals at those locations until 3 o'clock this afternoon. No meals will be handed out on Thanksgiving Day. But after that, IPS will hand out meals every Tuesday and Thursday from 8 until 10 p.m. and from noon until 3 p.m. The meals are available to any child under the age of 18, regardless of whether or not they attend an IPS school. When the Butler Bulldogs open their season tomorrow night against Western Michigan, there will be fewer fans cheering them on at Hinkle Fieldhouse than originally planned. Butler now says 1,500 fans instead of 2,200 will be able to watch the Bulldogs play in person. The 2,200 figure was about 25% of Hinkle Fieldhouse's capacity, but the university says it voluntarily reduced the number of fans, taking into account the increase in COVID-19 cases. Both IU and Purdue will have no fans in their stands when they begin their seasons tomorrow. Well, it has been weeks since the election, but the transition to the new administration in Washington, it's now moving forward. More coming up on the events that led to this sudden change of heart by a key government official. Todd.
And Lauren, it was a wet morning, and there's still a few scattered showers across parts of central Indiana here at this noon hour. But for the majority of the afternoon, we are going to be dry. Rain, though, is set to return this evening, and then rain chances really ramp up heading into the overnight hours, setting us up for a very wet Wednesday. We'll talk all about it coming up when the news at noon continues right here on WRTV.
Welcome back. President-elect Joe Biden will introduce several cabinet picks this afternoon. It comes less than 24 hours after a key government official cleared the way for his transition to begin. ABC's Faith Abube is in Washington now with the latest.
President Trump on Twitter still vowing to keep fighting an election he's lost, even as his top official at the General Services Administration signs off on the beginning of the transition of power to President-elect Joe Biden. For weeks, Biden suggested the delay could cost American lives.
More people may die if we don't coordinate.
With pressure mounting from both sides of the political aisle, and dozens of failed attempts in court by the Trump campaign to invalidate election results or prove voter fraud,
they promised blockbuster stuff, and then nothing happened.
The General Services Administration finally giving access to millions in government resources to the Biden transition team Monday. In a letter to Biden, the head of GSA insisting she was never pressured by any executive branch official to delay the formal transition, saying her decision to move forward was triggered by recent developments involving legal challenges and certifications of election results. But on Twitter, the president implying he gave his approval in the best interest of our country. Overnight, Trump's chief of staff saying in a memo the White House will comply with all actions needed to ensure the smooth transfer of power. Meanwhile, today, the president-elect expected to introduce his historic picks for national security and foreign policy. They include familiar faces from the Obama administration: Alejandro Mayorkas, the first immigrant and first Latino to serve as DHS secretary, Avril Haines as the first female director of national intelligence, and former Fed chair Janet Yellen as the first female Treasury secretary.
Do you expect Republicans to put up any significant roadblocks to your nominations?
Are you kidding me?
And though President Trump still refuses to concede this election, ABC News has learned the Secret Service is preparing protection for his post-presidency life in Florida. Faith Abube, ABC News, Washington.
It is a historic area, and much of it was lost to time. Up next, how some people who live downtown are trying to reclaim it and how they picked up a big victory in that fight this week. And they don't ask questions, they just want to help. Next, how a food pantry is again seeing record demand and how they now need your help. Let's take a look outside right now from our tower camera here overlooking downtown Indy. Todd will have a full look at our forecast and look ahead to your Thanksgiving holiday forecast. It's all coming up right here on the News at Noon. Stick around. Stopping development is usually not something that's celebrated, but in this case, the decision follows weeks of outcry from some community leaders who are dedicated in preserving a historic part of downtown Indy. Our own Cameron Riddle spoke to the organizers who want to reclaim and reimagine Indiana Avenue.
On Indiana Avenue, there is excitement, energy, and passion from grassroots organizers determined to reclaim the area.
I was just overwhelmed with emotion. Excitement for the possibilities, right?
Mallory Irvin and Jeff Williams are among the loud voices who pushed back against plans from local development group Buckingham Companies to build a large apartment building with a parking garage and retail space directly between the Indianapolis Urban League office and the Madam Walker Legacy Center. That plan was met with much criticism, mostly through online petitioning from the group Reclaim Indiana Avenue. Now Buckingham Companies has dropped its plans for the project.
It was affirmation that myself and others, our voice matters and our opinion matters when it comes to development in our community.
These organizers say they are not against development on Indiana Ave. In fact, that's exactly what they want. But they want the project to reflect Indiana's rich Black history and culture, which was all born along the avenue.
We want when people come through here on the cultural trail or to visit Indiana Avenue for them to feel the spirit of the Black community here. It's working well in cities like DC, Atlanta, Charlotte, Dallas, and Houston, and we feel like Indianapolis deserves to have that as well.
Both Irvin and Williams say they want to see Indiana Avenue reimagined from its current underdeveloped state back to something that resembles the destination that was once home to Madam C.J. Walker, a number of businesses, restaurants, jazz clubs, affordable homes, and in the future, a Black History Museum. But before drawing out any floor plans, developers should beware. The community is paying attention.
We're telling them that if you want to be on Indiana Avenue, you have to go through us, okay? You have to bring us to the table.
Cameron Riddle, WRTV.
Cameron, thank you. In a statement to WRTV, a spokesperson for Buckingham Companies cited COVID-19 as the reason for the change in plans for Indiana Avenue, saying in part, quote, despite the best intentions of everyone involved, the pursuit of a feasible project was undermined by the impact of a once-in-a-100-years pandemic that took away the reasonable opportunity to complete the development at this time. We appreciate the efforts and leadership of the Madam Walker Legacy Center and all the other stakeholders with an interest in this incredibly important site. End quote. All right, let's take a turn right now to our forecast, Todd. We're just 2 days away from the Thanksgiving holiday. People may be making their plans if they're just going to get outside at their own house. What do people need to know?
Yeah, you know, I think a lot of people obviously aren't going to be traveling as much here leading up to Thanksgiving, and normally Wednesday is the big getaway day, whether you're driving or you're flying. Well, we're going to have a lot of rainfall tomorrow, so maybe it's even just planning ahead for the last few ingredients you need for your Thanksgiving dinner on Wednesday. I would try to maybe get that in today while we're not dealing with as much in the way of rain. More on tomorrow in just a second. Here's a current view of radar, and you can see after what was a wet morning in some areas, we're dealing with just a few spotty showers lingering from Alexandria to Anderson to Muncie, over towards Portland, Hartford City, and then up into the Marion area. And that's really just about it as far as the rain goes for today. It's going to push off to the east, and then we're just left with clouds for the remainder of our Tuesday. Now, let me expand out, and you can see the bigger picture here. This is a massive storm system that's going to impact our weather with rain tomorrow. But if for some reason you are flying, Denver's getting quite a bit of snow today. Chicago's had some not so good weather with rain and snow. And this storm system is all going to start to head in our direction. Center of low pressure is here, and it's going to move right towards us as we go throughout the day today and into the day tomorrow. So this is the view you see right now. It's the view it's going to be all day. The clouds are not going to break. Temperatures right now at 44 degrees, but it feels like 37. So you definitely need to bundle up a little bit today. And highs are going to be anywhere from the low to mid 40s to the north to the 50s to the south. And you see Bedford's already at 51 degrees compared to 39 up in Peru. And here are those high temperatures. And all these are a couple degrees below normal, but it's damp out there. It's cloudy, so it's just not the best afternoon, but it's dry. That is the key word there. And this evening will be dry as well, with sunset at 5:23 and temperatures holding steady in the 40s. Fast forward to tomorrow. Thunderstorms are going to be moving through already by 8 a.m. And I'll show you a TrueCast in just a second, as we're going to be dealing with some heavy rainfall, especially the first half of the day. But it's all rain. That's the good news, because this system is going to bring warmer temperatures. Tomorrow we're up into the 50s. There's the marginal risk for severe weather from just about the Lafayette area over towards Muncie and points to the south. So that's almost all of central Indiana. Damaging wind will be the main threat. This is TrueCast. Fast forward to future radar for you right around midnight, and watch how this heavy rainfall comes in after about 3-4 o'clock in most locations. So join Lauren, Raphael, and I tomorrow starting at 4:30 on Good Morning Indiana, and I'll walk you through these storms as they come through. Damaging wind will be the main threat, but look how the rain just kind of lingers throughout the entire day tomorrow. It's going to taper off a little bit in the afternoon and evening, but we could see some localized flooding as well, as rainfall totals potentially well over an inch in many locations. So even if you do have to travel tomorrow locally, just give yourself some extra time. Could be some ponding on the roadways, could be dealing with visibility issues, that heavy rainfall, especially throughout the morning hours. Thanksgiving itself is dry at 54 degrees with mostly cloudy skies. And then Thursday and Friday are two pretty nice days, Lauren, with temperatures in the upper 50s before we get a pretty good shot of cold air by next Monday, when we may be talking about some snow showers in the forecast.
All right, Todd, thank you. Well, the Thanksgiving season is about gratitude and service to others, and those principles have never been more important than here in 2020. Food pantries all across central Indiana, they are in demand now more than ever before. The No Questions Asked Food Pantry is one of the many that are seeing more people use their services as this year continues on. The grassroots organization is based out of the Church Within, that's located in Fountain Square. It provides groceries, hot meals, hygiene, and cleaning supplies to anyone in need. No identification or proof of address is required.
We are here just to provide. The government has decided not to provide for the people, so we are here to do that. The need during the pandemic has just gone up exponentially. Like the number of people when we first started that we used to serve, that we would serve in like a month, we now serve in like a day.
Manager Amber Toombs there says that the pantry relies solely on volunteers and donations, and you can find more information about them by visiting WRTV.com. Just click on that story. Well, when we come back, it is time for our Pet of the Week, and we want you to meet Bertha. We're hoping to get this girl and her forever home for the holidays. We'll tell you a little bit more about her coming up, plus one final check of your forecast. Stick around. Welcome back. It is time to meet our Pet of the Week, and what better gift for the holiday season than this girl? This is Bertha. Indy Humane says she's a very sweet, easygoing girl who will fit well with most homes. She's 6 years old, a large breed dog. Bertha would benefit from short daily walks to keep her happy and healthy. Bertha seems to be a gentle giant, and Indy Humane says she'll do best as the only pet in the home. She's available with an $87.50 adoption fee, so if you'd like to learn more, maybe make an appointment to meet Bertha, you can just visit indyhumane.org. Oh, Todd with a face like that. I think we got to get her home for Thanksgiving.
Right, I think she'll get a home pretty quick here, Lauren. It is such a cute face, and look, knows how to shake as well. All right, the rest of today is dry, just lots of clouds around. Tomorrow's a very wet day, including the threat of severe weather in the morning hours. So make sure you join us on Good Morning Indiana tomorrow as we walk you through the potential for flooding as well, with over an inch of rain. Thanksgiving, though, Lauren, will be dry with a high of 54.
All right, Todd, thank you, and thank you for joining us and making WRTV your choice for news. We hope you have a great afternoon.